Namaste. So, welcome back to the second session. So, as I have informed last video, in this video we will be seeing about or talking about types of Agni. So, until now we understood Agni as a foundation of digestion, metabolism, immunity, strength, and life itself. But now let us ask an important question. When we eat food, does one single digestive fire perform everything? Does the stomach alone convert the food into a blood, muscles, fat, bone, immunity, or hormones and energy? Is a single fire is taking care of all this? So you have a doubt, right? Obviously it's not. So Ayurveda therefore explains that Agni does not function as a single isolated fire. It functions at multiple levels throughout the body. So let's go a little more deeper. We often spoken as of Agnis in a single principle. But Acharya Charaka explains that Agni functions in 13 forms within our body. These different Agnis collectively govern our digestion, absorption, metabolism, nutrient transformation, tissue formation, immunity, and our maintenance of our life. Through this only that we can see the balanced life, or we have a healthy life. When you see, according to Atreya, the metabolic heat or a transformative force present in each doshas, dhatus and malas is called Agni. So this was gives a very important understanding that Agni is not confined to only to the stomach. It exists in digestion, tissues, cellular metabolism, in dosha functions, waste formation, and every process of transformation which is happening in our body. When you see Arunadatta, he is a commentator, he further explains that every subtle component of the body possesses its own metabolic activity. So Agni operates throughout the body continuously. So let me give you an example like with the food. Suppose if we are having a food like rice, dal, vegetables, some curries, and then curd or yogurt. So here when you see it, many process must occur here when you are having this food. For example, the food has to be digested here. The nutrients must be absorbed. Proteins must nourish muscles. Calcium, which is there in the food, must nourish bone. Waste must be eliminated. So, is the one digestive process alone can do all this? Cannot. So, Ayurveda explains multiple Agnis. That is why the types of Agnis has been mentioned in our text. So, what are the types of Agnis? How many types of Agnis are there? So, according to Acharya Charaka, there are 13 types of Agnis, which is grouped into 3 categories. First, Jatara Agni, which is our primary digestive fire. And then Bhuta Agni, which is having 5. It is based on Panchamahabhutas, that is elemental digestive fire. And then next, which is Dhatu Agni, which has 7 in number. There are 7 tissues. So based on that, Dhatu Agni is 7. So that is tissue metabolic fire. So now you can see there are 13 types of Agnis which is mentioned by Acharya Charaka. What are the Agnis? Jatara Agni, which is 1, Bhuta Agni 5, Dhatu Agni 7. There are 13 types. I'll give you another example again how whether related to the food itself. So think, if you are preparing some vegetable biryani or vegetable pulao, rice kind of varieties, so is a one stove will not be enough. That means there are different stages are happening to prepare that dish. For example, washing is happening, there is a cutting process, then cooking process, seasoning is happening, there is a steam, serving. So there are so many stages for cooking a one dish. That is here. Similarly, inside our body also, the food what you eat, it has to, food digestion should happen, elemental processing should happen, and then only tissue nourishment will be there. All this process, how it happens? Based on this 13 Agnis. First, we'll go through now Jatara Agni. Jatara Agni is the main digestive fire. Among all 13 Agnis, Ayurveda gives special importance to Jatara Agni. Why? Why is it so? Because whatever we eat first comes in contact with Jatara Agni. If the primary digestive fire fails, if every subsequent metabolic process becomes disturbed. So when you are having a food, as explained in the last class also, if your Agni is weak or disturbed or impaired, if that is not there properly, the food what you eat will not digest and will not convert into an energy or will not convert into there won't be a transformation, won't be happening in the next stage. So that is why Jatara Agni has a major role in our digestion. So when you see the word Jatara Agni, it consists of two terms. Jatara means it may be refers to stomach, abdomen, digestive tract. So here Agni means, you know, that which we have seen in last class also, like fire, transformation, digestion, illumination, metabolic intelligence. So many meaning is there for the Agni. So Jatara Agni is the principal digestive and metabolic force residing in the gastrointestinal system. So how Agni is present in our body? In what form it is present in our body? So in a classical reference, it mentioned that Agni Reva Sharire Pittam Antargatam. That means the Agni exists within the body in association with Pitta. So according to this, the state of balance or imbalance, it may produce health, nourishment or a disease. If there is an imbalance of Agni or a Pitta, it may lead to diseases. So now you all understand, based on all this thing, that Agni is not just only an external fire. It clearly explains that this is not only an external fire. It says that digestive fire, when it refers to what? Digestive capacity, enzymatic activity, metabolic transformation and biochemical digestion. So Agni is related to all this activity which is happening in our body. If you see in a modern thing, it can be loosely correlated with same like digestive enzymes. It may be hydrochloric acid which is there in the stomach to help for the digestion of the food. There is a bile secretion, pancreatic enzymes, intestinal digestion, metabolic digestive intelligence. These are the things which is happening in our body when the food is being consumed. All this process are happening in our body. So the Agni can be related to this. All this Agni, Jatara Agni and every Agnis can be related to modern correlation in this way. Okay. But like what to say, only with this the Jataragni is broader than the modern digestion, because it includes not only a digestion, it includes digestion, how the absorption has been happening to our body when the food is being intake, how the metabolic transformation has been happening when the food which has been absorbed, how the transformation is happening, all this to be considered, because as I said, there are three different types of Agni which is mentioned. So in this, if any defect happening in any of those Agnis also, there will be an obstruction on this side. For example, if the food has been taken, if Jataragni is a problem, the digestion there itself is affected. It may not lead to a next stage. The absorption won't be happen. If digestion happened, absorption has happened. If anything which blocks in the metabolic level, if Dhatu Agni is disturbed, then metabolic transformation is not happening. So if you see in Ayurveda, it is a more than the just not related just to the digestion. So like as I said, like in last class also, the seat of Agni is Grahani. According to Acharya Shushruta, he mentioned that Jataragni specifically resides in Pittadara Kala. That is where it means, like he is saying, it's located between the stomach and the intestine. So in his perspective, he has mentioned that it's situated between stomach and intestine. This is where the region where you know that it supports a digestion, which holds a pitta, and it regulates our digestive transformation. And before class, as said, Jataragni resides in Grahani according to Acharya Vagbhata. So here I have mentioned two Acharyas regarding Jataragni places. According to Shushruta, it is placed in Pittadara Kala. Jataragni resides in Pittadara Kala. According to Vagbhata, Acharya Vagbhata, Jataragni resides in Grahani. Okay. And once again I am explaining about that Grahani. The word Grahani means that which holds, which retains a food until the digestion is completed. What is the function of Grahani? Receives food, retains food, supports digestion, and enables the absorption. These are the functions of Grahani. So how we have correlated that Grahani in previous class also mentioned stomach, duodenum, small intestine, digestive regulatory zone, everything comes under Grahani. So now you have an idea about Grahani, where it is, where it has been located. So now one more example I am giving. So we will be having so many food items together, right? For example, we may have rice, sambar, chutney, some coffee, sometimes juices. So there are different variety of food which will be taken in our meal. So this food, whatever we take, it does not instantly enter tissues, right? What will happen here? It is first received and it is retained and then mixed, and it has to process, and then it has to digest, and then transformation happens. This is where that Grahani plays a role. This coordinate the function reflects the Grahani and Jataragni action. This is the importance of the Jataragni and the Grahani. So when the food is taken, it has to chewed first, and it has to hold in stomach. The necessary enzymes or necessary Agni has to produce, it has to process, then it has to digest, it has to split into Sara Bhaga and Kitta Bhaga. That means it has to produce nutrients and also the elimination part. So this has function on Grahani and Jataragni action. So one example which I can give, like when sometimes a patient says, doctor, whenever I eat, I feel bloated immediately. You may have seen so many people saying that sometimes even we may experience that. So immediately what will be the signs will symptoms will be there, like we say I have a heaviness, incomplete digestion, I have a loose stools, fatigue. So what is the root cause here will be? So here it is not about the food what we take, it is about our Agni which is weak here, and also there is an impaired Grahani function is not happening. So what is the Grahani functions? The food which should receive properly, it should retain there, it supports the digestion and absorption to be happen there, but that function is not happening properly. That is a Grahani function. So here, because of that weak Agni and also because of the impaired Grahani function, this may lead into an indigestion. So hope you have understood about Agni, weak Agni, and also about the Grahani's function. It has a several vital function. In last class I have mentioned there are like Pachana, digestion of food, which is a primary role of Jatara Agni. So when the food is being taken, it should its role is Pachana, breaking down the consumed food. It cannot be absorbed as it is, right? It has to break. So this Jatara Agni is the one which helps the food to break down whatever we had. And like for example, what all the types we take and how it is. Like for example, 4 types of food being food digested, like Acharyas described 4 categories. Type 1 like Ashita, that is whatever the eaten food, like for example rice, chapati. Katita, like chewed food, like nuts, vegetables. And then Pita, like liquids, when we drink milk, juice, etc. Lehyam, lickable substances like honey, Chavanaprash, something better. So all these types of 4 categories require Jataragni. So here Acharya has mentioned that there are 4 types of food, that is Ashita, Khadita, Pita, Lehyam. All this require Jatara Agni to digest that. For example, if you consume hot soup, dosha, or something milkshake, or some herbal jams, everything. So what should happen here? All must undergo digestion through Jatara Agni, right? Yes. So when this digestion is happening, what happens? This has to split into 2 things. That is Sara Kitta Vivaga, one of the most important functions of Jatara Agni. That is, after digestion, the food is divided into 2 things, Sara Bhaga or Prasada Bhaga. That is useful nutritive function, like fractions, like whatever you are taking, that has to convert maybe as an energy or sometimes it produce a nutrients which will be helpful to form tissues, bones, etc. So that is Sara Bhagam. Then next is Kitta Bhaga, waste fraction, elimination thing. So this is the 2 things will happen. So when food is been consumed, once with the help of a Jatara Agni, the food is break down into a substance, like, and then this will be digested and it will split into 2 things, that is Sarabhaga, Kittabhaga. The Sarabhaga is a useful nutritive fraction, Kittabhaga is a wasteful fraction, that is a elimination thing. Like for example, it is maybe bowel movements, urination, sweat, something waste products which has to eliminate from our body. Okay. when you say in modern related, if you want to understand a little bit about Sarabhaga, is nutrient absorption is happening, usable metabolic substrates. As in Kittabhaga, as I said, it's a stool, urine, metabolic waste, anything can which is has to eliminate from our body is comes under Kittabhaga. When you are having any type of fruit, for like you see like mango or something, so there will be any useful nutrients will be there, right? Like vitamins, sugar, antioxidants, everything. What happens when you are having mango? This vitamin, sugar, antioxidant will become as sara, as an example. Undigested fire and waste become Kittabhaga. So whatever the nutrients which is present in the mango will convert this like this into an asara, vitamins, whatever sugars, antioxidants. That undigested fire and waste become a Kittabhaga. So nourishment of dhatus. When the Jatara Agni digests the food properly, it will produce a healthy ahara rasa. This nourishment, what will happen? It is which will be utilized for tissue formation, energy production, immunity, strength, etc. Like for example, if you're having a healthy like milk plus ghee or something, almonds, this is if there is a proper digestion happens when you are taking this type of foods, it definitely can support your like ojas, balam, that is strength, immunity, and then tissue nourishment will be happening correctly. Only when Agni is functioning properly. Otherwise, this will not nourish your body if Agni is weak. As said before also, Jatara Agni is the central Agni. If Jatara Agni is good, then the next Bhuta Agni, Dhatva Agni will be getting proper nourishment. So Jatara Agni is a central core. Because this Bhuta Agni and Dhatva Agni depends upon the Jatara Agni. So we always make sure that Jatara Agni is proper in our body. If you think of our body as a factory, so Jatara Agni like it's a main processing plant, right? The raw material will enter. Initially what happens, a processing will occur, then the materials move to specialized departments. If the main plant fails, what will happen? Every department suffers. It's the same thing. If Jatara Agni not functioning properly, then all other Agni will not be achieving their nourishment or energy, vitality, whatever it is. So how you will know whether the Jatara Agni is healthy? What is a good sign in your body which shows the Jatara Agni is healthy? So this may relate in your Parijaraka, like for example in Snehapana. So in Snehapana is, Sneha means like oil, fat we can say. Pana means drinking. So drinking of any fats is called Snehapana, is one of the treatment. So in the Snehapana treatment, the patient will be taken to the treatment once the ghee or a fat which has been taken is digested properly. then only we have to do an external treatment also. So during that time, the Parijaraga has a major role. Like we have to understand, the Parijaraga has to understand whether the patient has digested the ghee what they have been taken. So there is a symptoms to, like there is a signs that patient will say like I have a good appetite, my burps are clear, so I'm hungry, like that. We have to assess the patient whether the ghee is digested. So why I'm saying this is because Jatara Agni, when it is in a healthy state, you will have good appetite, proper digestion will be there, good bowel habits will be there, tissue nourishment will happen, there will be a strong immunity, and there will be a clear mind also. So as I said in Snehavana, after when the ghee is digested, when patient is having an hunger, when the burps are clear, then only the patient has to taken to the external treatment. So we have to observe the Jatara Agni in that stage also. So when Parijaraka meets the patient, if sometimes they may say that I'm hungry, but sometimes the burps will not having a clear, so it may taste like a ghee taste. So you have to inform the practitioner or a doctor to say, check them whether the food has been digested, then only you have to take them to the treatments. That is one example which I am giving for like how important is Jatara Agni has a role in treatments also. And one more thing, if you have like a healthy Agni, the people will say like I have a good hunger, and the hunger will happen at a proper time. So I don't have a bloating, or I have a regular stools every day in the morning, I have a sustained energy. This says that Jatara Agni is balanced. So these are the thing which we have to note in ourselves also, to make sure whether our Agni is been properly functioning, whether are we digesting the food properly, or simply are we taking any like for example any kind of nourished food or healthy food, whatever may be, but still the Agni is weak. So instead of taking a nourished food, if that has not been absorbed or nourished to our system, what is the use of taking it? So first we need to focus of our Jatara Agni, whether this has been working or functioning properly in our body. So same as I told, if the healthy Agni is this all the symptoms. So if weak Agni, so it's opposite. Like patient will not have an appetite, patient will have heaviness, patient will have coated tongue, patient will have gases, burps, fatigue. This all shows that Agni is weak. So we have to assess our own body, or whenever we see other people also, whether the food is being digested properly. If the Agni is weak, then there will be a formation of ama. Ama is a toxins, which is an unwanted toxin which is accumulated in our body, which may blocks the channels, which doesn't pass through or transform the proper essence or nutrients to the other area. So that because of weak Agni, ama formation may happen. So overall, right now we have seen like what are the types of Agni. So we have seen there are 13 types of Agni. That is, first is Jatara Agni, and then Bhuta Agni, Dhatu Agni. These are the 13 types. And then we have, this is Jatara Agni is not just merely a digestive fire. So we have seen it is the central force responsible for what? Digestion, absorption, metabolism, nutrient utilization, tissue nourishment, and health, to maintain the health. So far we have understood the importance of Jataragni and its location. When you remember the location, Acharya Shushruta said the Grahani which is resides in the Jataragni resides in the Pittadara Kala, and Acharya Vagbhata said it resides in Grahani. And also we have seen that how it's been present in different forms in our body. So what exactly does Agni do for us every day? Do you have that question after listening all this? Is Agni only digesting the food what we eat like breakfast, lunch and dinner, or is it doing something much bigger? We have been listening all this. So is Agni having a role only on the what we have food is been digested? Is it having that only that? No, definitely not. Agni is not responsible only for food digestion. It is the life. It sustains our life. It gives you the prana, which is the one which makes your body like radiance, brilliance, intelligence, which is the one which helps you in everything. If you want to maintain your life, Agni is needed. So now you know how important Agni is having a role in our life. So though there are a dosha, dhatu, malas, etc., in everything there is an Agni which is helping that to function properly. In last class which I have mentioned, Acharya in a classical reference, there is Acharya Charaka has mentioned how if proper Agni is there, what all the things you can achieve. So once again I'll repeat it. Ayu, which has longevity. If you have a proper Agni, you will have a Ayu, lifespan will be increased. You will increase your longevity in your life. So you will Varna, complexion and radiance. If you see that, like people people will say that I'm not sleeping well, why I'm looking dull, I'm not able to, I don't feel, my face looks very dull, not energetic. This is because their Agni is not proper. So that is why the Varna has been affected also. There is no complexion because inside there is no proper functioning of the nourishment or energy is not happening inside. So then another thing is Bala, strength. If this is not happen, Bala also will not. So if you want to increase your strength, the Agni is needed. Swasthya, health. It's already mentioned, if you want a healthy life, you need a healthy Agni. Utsaha, enthusiasm. When the Utsaha will come? When you have a proper nourishment only, you will have an energy to do things. So when Agni is affected, you will not have that utsaha or enthusiasm to do the things in your life. Upachaya. So when the food has been taken, for example, if you are taking milk and ghee, everything, which is having a very good quality to increase your growth. Okay, but there is an Jatara Agni is affected there. That is Jatara Agni becomes weak. So what happens? And food what you took, milk, which is a very good nourished food, but that doesn't digest properly over there. So it doesn't help you to grow or in a nourishment. So the Upachaya will happen only when proper Agni is present. Ojas. When this is again, when all this not happening, how the immunity will be there? When someone is saying my immune system is down, I don't feel, I'm easily affected with the diseases, I'm easily affected to the seasonal changes, it's because how to improve your immunity? It's based on your ahara, that is based on your the food which you take. It has to digest, then only the nourishment should reach and ojas will happen, the immunity will be gaining. Tejas, metabolic brilliance. Prana, the life was the prana will be achieved when your Agni is functioning well. So everything in the body is ultimately depends upon your Agni, Deha Agni. So what are the things when you have a proper Agni, what all things you can achieve in your life? Ayu, Varna, Bala, Swasthya, Utsaha, Upachaya, Ojas, Tejas, Prana. So if Agni is functioning properly, you can achieve all this in your life. So your energy, your immunity, your tissue nourishment, your mental enthusiasm, even your lifespan is connected to the Agni. That you have to remember. So like for example, think like if you're there are two people, they may sleep same time like 8 hours, they may eat, both will have a nutritious food every day. When both persons are doing a similar things, but one person may feel energetic, one person will have sharp minded, one person will have healthy digestion, the skin will be glowing, everything, but other person will be tired, bloated, poor appetite, recurrent illness. If you see, he has taken same food, same routine, but here outcome when it comes, it's a different. So you can just think how it is. For example, you have to think how their Agni is functioning there, how like that is why Ayurveda is a very unique thing, that each individual will have a different treatments for same conditions. If a person has a similar conditions, both of them having, maybe both have joint pains, but the role of the treatment which we give can be different, the medicines which we give can be different. This is all changed based on their Agni. Sometimes some will have high Agni, sometimes some will have low Agni, sometimes some will have irregular Agni. So the food as well as the medicines, treatments, everything has to be changed. So but in Ayurveda, like if you go into a modern treatments, when they go for if they have a joint pains, they just say there is an inflammation, we have to give anti-inflammatory medicine, some painkillers, some antacid medicines. It may be the same for all, the protocol will be the same, it will be continued for all the patients. But in Ayurveda, it's a very beautiful and what to say, like it's a unique way of treatments. First we will focus on to correct your lifestyle. We'll ask how is your lifestyle habits, what are the lifestyle habits, what is your food, what are the food habits, what is your activities, day-to-day activities, what all you are doing. We will be inquiring all the nidana, what is the root cause of these problems. So this is for example, if a person is not sleeping well, we will be asking what is your routine. They will be saying that I am not sleeping, I am watching mobile at night, and I am not taking food on time. So this will be the reason for causing the Agni improper. So we have to correct the root cause, what it has been occurred. So Agni has a major role. So we have to understand that when we do treatments or when we correct our body, our focus should be to taken care of our Agni. When Agni remains balanced, a person lives a long and disease free. So So balanced Agni will sustain the life, will sustain the health. Destroyed Agni will destroy the life. Okay. So what is the physical functions of Agni? So Agni governs multiple physiological functions. Digestion of food, which is a primary function of Agni. Food must undergo a transformation before it is been utilization. So like without digestion, even the healthiest food become useless, which I have mentioned earlier also. The food whatever you have taken, it has to digest, then only the transformation has to happen. Otherwise there is ama will be formed. This will not be either digested in your body, sometimes it will not be eliminated from your system. So it may accumulate in any channels and it may obstruct your channels to what happens, it blocks the channels, and so the transform of energy or nutrients or whatever may be, it's not happening in that level. So patient may consume fruits, vegetables, nuts, protein rich diet, etc. But still he will say, I'm still feel weak. So it's not that problem here is not the food quality. Problem here is digestive capacity. The digestion is not happening. The second point is absorption and assimilation. See, what we have food, if digestion happened there, but without absorption and assimilation, what is the role of digestion alone? It is insufficient, right? So the nutrients which is being like the food which has been digested, that nutrients has to be absorbed, it should be assimilated, it should converted into an usable nourishment. Like, so when the third point is dhatu nourishment. First digestion happened, then absorption and assimilation happened, and then third is dhatu nourishment, which means Agni will transform the food into 7 dhatus, that is rasa, rakta, Mamsa, Meda, Hasti, Majja, Shukra. This proper tissue formation should happen. This is only depends upon Agni. If Agni is not there, this tissue formation will not happen. Patient, for example, if someone is having an osteoarthritis or some other bone related issues, so doctors are advising to have calcium rich foods or something related to the disease, like to have foods. Patient eats the calcium rich foods, but still he may feel a bone weakness. Why? Was nutrition absent? No. It is the transformation failed. Here the digestion happened, absorption has done, everything has produced. But what happens here? Because if any Agni which has been weak in the dhatus, the transformation is failed. So whatever the food which is you are taking related to your diseases to improve your energy or a system or a health, it may fail when the transformation is not done. The fourth is maintenance of bala, strength. Like if you have a healthy Agni, it builds your physical strength, stamina, etc. Otherwise, it may produce fatigue, reduced exercise tolerance, tiredness, always you feel weak, you can't do any exercise like that. And then fifth point is it supports of ojas and immunity. When that is healthy Agni will promote proper tissue nourishment, right? Properly nourished tissues, what will happen? It produce ojas in your body. So healthy Agni, healthy dhatus. Dhatus means tissues. Then healthy ojas, that will lead to strong immunity. So another example I'll give, like sometimes people will have basic symptoms, indigestion, but it has been there for a long term. So patient may often experience like recurrent cold, low resistance, poor recovery. Why this is happening? It's because why here because here what happens, because of that indigestion, that Agni is disturbed. So the transformation of the proper nourishment or dhatu level, it doesn't reach. The ojas is affected. The immunity got down. That is why patient experience often recurrent cold, low resistance, poor poor energy, etc. So here, are we need to correct the cold and other things, or are we need to correct the Agni? So now we have to relate, we have to correct the Agni, by that the symptoms will be reduced. So when some person is recurrently affecting with some diseases because of their low immunity, what is the problem? We have to address. So root cause is an Agni disturbance. So when you correct that, giving some medicines like Deepana, Bhajana medicines, this will be taken care. So like next point is production of warmth and energy. Like Agni will provide a metabolic heat, physiological warmth, functional energy. All this will be happening with the Agni. When metabolism is poor, he will have sluggishness, low energy, cold intolerance again. So again, what we need to address here, it doesn't think sluggishness, oh we have to treat something else. No, just think about the Agni. First go observe the symptoms and ask the questions related to Agni. How is their appetite, how is the bowel movements, everything, and correct that. By that the metabolism will be corrected. Another point is elimination of waste. Though whatever the food has been taken, if it is the nourishment is up, so the elimination has to happen properly. If proper metabolism happens, only that this will convert it into a waste also. Otherwise this will not. That is why sometimes people may have a constipation, bloating, coated tongue. This is all related to an improper Agni. So proper elimination also will happen only when Agni is having functioning properly. Now we have seen what all the things which will be helpful which will be helpful to maintain our health based on Agni. But Ayurveda doesn't limit the Agni to the only to the stomach. It also influences the mind also. When you have Agni in a correct way, even that will support your mind level. Like you will have a clarity, you will have a discrimination power, you have a reasoning, you will have memory, like supports a memory, confidence, enthusiasm. You will have emotional stability. If someone is don't know how to control their anger or how to control their emotions, if the memory is weak, so we have to. So all the medicines which we use in Ayurveda is more or less related to incorrect your Agni. That is the major. So if some doctor says or practitioner says this is medicine says correct your Agni, not like only Jatara Agni. It is like correcting the Dhatva Agni, correcting the Bhuta Agni. In every level it has been taken care. By that all the symptoms will be which is happening in your body will be reduced. For example, have you noticed anyone after overeating like a heavy food, they say mind, oh, I feel very dull in my mind, I don't feel like concentrating on them, my concentration has been decreased, so I feel weak. So can you relate, is this connected to your stomach? Yes, of course. So it is, the gut is like is connected to our mind. So whatever you have food in your body, the stomach, the digestion and the mental state are closely connected, that you can experience also in your life. That is why nowadays so many people are saying there is a gut brain interaction is there, or neurometabolic function, mind digestive function. There are so many things are there right now in a modern world, which they explain, which Ayurveda has explained 5000 years ago about this Agni and its types and how it has been functioning in our body. So far we have seen what are the types of Agni. So I'll just go through some important points what we have seen till now. So by that I will complete this 1 hour session today, and then next 1 hour session I will go through the types of Jatara Agni and then Bhuta Agni and Dhatva Agni in the next 1 hour session. So let's see what are the points we have seen till now. We'll just go through. So major points we have seen is, as I said, first point in types of Agni. How many types of Agni we have? There are 13 types of Agni. So in 13 types of Agni, what are the types? Who has mentioned that? It is Acharya Charaka. So what are the types? It is Jatara Agni 1, Bhuta Agni 5, Dhatva Agni 7. So Jatara Agni is, it's a primary digestive fire. Bhuta Agni is elemental digestive fire. Dhatva Agni tissue metabolic fire. Bhuta Agni is related with Panchamahabhutas. Dhatva Agni is related with 7 Dhatus. Okay, there are 13 types of Agnis. Though there are 13 types of Agni, which is a major Agni which is needed in our body is Jatara Agni, because once the digestion is affected, the other two Agnis are dependent upon Jatara Agni. What are the Agni? Bhuta Agni and Dhatva Agni is dependent on Jatara Agni functions. Okay, so once the digestion happens only, it can convert into a nutrients, or a transformation will happen in our body properly. And then one more thing we have mentioned, Acharya Shushruta has mentioned the location of Jatara Agni is Pitta Dharakala. Acharya Vagbhata has mentioned Jatara Agni resides in Grahani. So we have seen in last class also, in this class also, about Grahani. Grahani means that which holds, it retains the food until the digestion is completed. We have seen the functions of Grahani here, and we have gone through so many examples to understand the Grahani and Jatara Agni actions. What is the functions of Jatara Agni we have gone through. There are 4 types of food digested. Acharyas describe 4 categories. That is, type 1 is Ashita, 2 is Katita, 3 is Pita, and 4th one is Lehya. and whenever the digestion happens, when it completes, it will divide it into two things after digestion, that is Sara Bhaga and Kitta Bhaga, useful nutritive products and then baseful products. Two things will happen. Okay, so one more thing we have seen, and that is if there is a proper Agni is there, which will help for your Ayu, longevity, Varna, complexion and radiance, Bala, strength, Swasthya, health, Utsaha, enthusiasm, Upachaya, growth and nourishment, Ojas, immunity and vitality, Tejas, metabolic brilliance, Prana, life force, and these all the things which you have seen. When you have a proper Agni, you will achieve all this in your life. So one more point is, so as said, the Agni is not only limited to the stomach, it also influences the mind. So if you have a healthy Agni, it will give you a healthy body and also a healthy mind. So far we have covered all this in this session. So thank you once again, and again we will see in the next 1 hour session. As said, I will be talking about types of Jatara Agni, Bhuta Agni and Dhatva Agni in that class. And the next 1 hour we will be talking about Bala and immunity. By that, the Agni and Bala class will be over. Thank you. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha.